You know, every single time you log into something, you're basically handing over a key to your entire digital life. But have you ever really stopped to ask who owns the lock? That's what we're digging in today, the invisible but absolutely critical battle for control of your digital self.
I mean, think about it. Who really owns you online? It's a simple question, right? But the consequences are massive. Is it you, the government, or the tech giant whose logo you just clicked? This is the core struggle of our digital age. And honestly, the outcome is going to define our freedom online for generations.
It really boils down to three competing models, three different camps fighting for dominance. You've got the state-controlled model, the big corporate model we all know, and then there's this newer, user-controlled idea. So let's break down what each one really means for your privacy and your freedom.
Okay, let's start with that first model, government control. And for this, we're going to use the UK's push for a centralized digital ID as a case study. Why? Because it perfectly highlights the inherent dangers when a government tries to hold all the keys. So according to the source material we're looking at, the case against a system like the one in the UK really comes down to four major risks. First, the incredible danger of a single catastrophic hack. Second, how these things always seem to become mandatory. Third, the potential to lock citizens out or even use it as a political weapon. And finally, a total lack of data privacy. Each one is a huge threat, but let's zoom in on those first two because they're especially terrifying.
I want you to just think about the sheer scale of this for a second. We're not talking about a minor data leak here. When you create one giant database with everyone's most personal information, you're basically painting a giant glowing target on it for every hacker on the planet. A single breach wouldn't just be bad, it could be a full-blown national disaster, capable of wrecking the entire digital economy.
And that leads right into the second huge danger, something called scope creep. A government ID might get introduced for something that sounds reasonable, like filing taxes. But once that system's in place, what's to stop it from becoming mandatory for everything else? Getting healthcare, hopping on a bus, even casting your vote. Your entire life could become just a series of permissions that a central authority can grant or deny.
So, if putting the government in charge is such a bad idea, what about the alternative we're all using every single day, the corporate model? We've basically traded the state for big tech. But are we any better off? I mean, the convenience is amazing, but it comes at a very steep and often hidden price.
Come on, we've all done it. You see that button? Sign in with Google, log in with Facebook. It's just so easy. But every single time you click it, you're feeding a machine built on what's now called surveillance capitalism. It's a simple trade-off. You get convenience, and in return, these companies get to track your every move across the web, building this incredibly detailed profile of you for one reason, to sell you stuff more effectively. And this is the absolute key difference, right here. It's a totally different philosophy. In the corporate model, you are the product. Your identity, your data, it's all just a commodity to be packaged up and sold. But in this other model, the self-sovereign one, you're the owner. Your identity is yours, period.
Okay, so if the government model is dangerous and the corporate model is exploitative, what's left? What's the alternative? Well, the source material we're looking at today doesn't just point out the problems. It puts forward what it sees as an ideal solution, one built entirely on user control. It's a concept from Linkspreed, and it's called UIID. At the very heart of this UID idea is this powerful principle, self-sovereign identity, or SSI for short. And it's actually simple, but it's totally revolutionary. It says that you, and only you, should own and control your digital identity. No government, no corporation, you're in charge.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but how is that even possible? Well, the magic ingredient is some really clever cryptography called zero-knowledge proofs. Think of it like this. To get into a bar, you don't need to show the bouncer your driver's license with your name, your address, your exact birth date on it. All you need to prove is that one fact, I am over 21. Zero-knowledge proofs lets you do that digitally, prove something is true without revealing any of the sensitive data behind it.
So here's how a system like UID actually put this into practice. It's a really smart two-tier structure. First, you get one super secure core identity. Think of it like your master key. It's verified and then locked away safely in your own private digital wallet. Then, for every different website or service you use, you create separate, disposable aliases. These are like single-use keys that can prove specific facts about you, like your age or your citizenship. Using those zero-knowledge proofs, but without ever revealing or connecting back to your core identity.
And the result of all this? True data minimization. This is the complete opposite of the state and corporate models, which are designed to hoover up as much data as they possibly can. With a system like UIID, you share only the absolute bare minimum required for any given interaction, nothing more. It is literally privacy by design.
So, this whole vision for an ideal, user-controlled future is the UID concept, and it's being proposed by the team at Linkspreed. If you want to really dive into the nitty-gritty, all the technical details of their solution, you can check it all out on their website.
Which brings us to the final and most crucial takeaway from all of this. The fight for digital identity isn't just about technology or cool new crypto. It's a fundamental choice about the kind of society we actually want to live in. It's all about where we place our trust, and ultimately, who holds the power.
As we keep moving forward, this is the question every single one of us has to answer. Is the digital key to your life going to be held by a government or a corporation, turning it into a tool for surveillance and control? Or will you be the one to hold that key, making your identity a declaration of your own freedom and your own sovereignty? The choice, really, is ours to make.